Question number 2, Stephen Kerr.
Thank you, Presiding Officer. To ask the Scottish Government, in light of recently reported developments, what plans are being made to support the continued operation of the Grangemouth Refinery?
Cabinet Secretary Mary McCallum.
Presiding Officer, the Scottish Government continues to engage extensively with owners of the Grangemouth Refinery and is committed to securing a long-term sustainable future for the industrial cluster. The future configuration of the Grangemouth Refinery is a commercial matter for the owners. However, we have a track record of supporting businesses at Grangemouth as they progress their low-carbon projects, and we are committed to working collaboratively with Petroenius to accelerate its own projects at the site.
Stephen Kerr.
Well, I thank the Cabinet Secretary for her reply, and I hope she will join with me in paying tribute to the positive campaign that has been run and is being run by Unite the Union. And it's aptly called Keep Grangemouth Working. And I, as a Conservative, have no hesitation in backing that campaign to keep Grangemouth working, because the campaign asks three things: to extend the lifetime of the refinery, invest in new technology and support for greener and cleaner energy projects. So from her engagement with Petroenius, can the Cabinet Secretary confirm Martin Williams's front page story in the Herald this morning that the hydrocracker has been restarted? And what impact does this return to sustained profitability mean for extending the life of the refinery?
Cabinet Secretary.
Presiding Officer, I'm very pleased to join with Stephen Kerr in recognising the work of Unite the Union, and by extension I should like to again put on record my thanks to the workers at Grangemouth, the highly skilled workers who contribute so much to this asset of strategic importance to Scotland. As regards media coverage today, I am of course aware of it. It explores the issue of the hydrocracker at the Grangemouth Refinery. This is purely an operational matter for the company, and one which is commercially sensitive. It's not appropriate for me to speculate or to theorise on what is essentially media speculation at this point, but what I can assure Stephen Kerr and indeed the Chamber is that ministers and officials engage regularly with all those with an interest at the cluster, including with the business, to understand the impact of current operations, of course with an interest in their operation today and how that progresses into the future.
Stephen Kerr.
Well, I thank the Minister for her response, but I hope that she would agree that it is a matter of interest for her and her team to find out whether or not the hydrocracker has been restarted. I think we have it from multiple sources that it has, and this is a significant development. Now, I can't help thinking that this window of opportunity that the restarting of the hydrocracker brings is not unrelated to the end of the Butte House Agreement. And I want to echo what Derek Thompson of Unite has said in the light of the return to healthy profits for Petroenius at Grangemouth. He said, "The only sensible commercial decision to be made is to maintain the refinery's operations and in doing so retain 500 highly skilled jobs." I say hear to that. Investing in cleaner and greener energy projects at Grangemouth is a major strategic issue for the whole of Britain. So I ask the Minister, both governments must work together with local interests to secure the future of the site and the local economy. So what discussions has the Cabinet Secretary had with UK ministers, and what have they agreed? And in addition to the local council, Forth Valley College and Petroenius, which other local businesses have been recruited to the Grangemouth Future Industry Board?
Cabinet Secretary.
Presiding Officer, I'll be glad to share a copy of the cast list for the Grangemouth Future Industry Board with the member. It's quite extensive, and so I will do that in writing. I would encourage him, given the importance he places on this, and that I do as well, not to theorise or indulge ourselves in theories about political configuration on the one hand, and what is essentially commercial matters for Petroenius to take on the other. But allow me to restate, firstly, that it's not appropriate for me to comment on media speculation, but to reinforce the point that ministers and officials are very closely engaged with the development of these matters. And I suppose close my response by highlighting that our objective, given the strategic importance of Grangemouth, is to maximise transition opportunities, to minimise any gap between those emerging and transition happening, and all of that with a view to securing as many jobs as possible.
Yeah.
Michelle Thompson.
Thank you, Presiding Officer. We all agree on the need to secure the refinery and jobs in such an important industrial cluster in my constituency. However, we also agree on the need for this to be done sustainably. So to that end, can the Cabinet Secretary update on the calls to the UK Government removing the regulatory barriers around sustainable aviation fuels and thus allow a future possibility of the site as a biorefinery?
Cabinet Secretary.
Presiding Officer, Michelle Thompson is absolutely right to highlight the opportunity of biorefining as a potential transition opportunity for the cluster. Ministers have made several representations to the UK Government for engagement on issues surrounding sustainable aviation fuel. Initial indications did suggest that the UK's proposed post-Brexit SAF mandate would inhibit HEFA use, a key inhibitor thereafter to the development of SAF. However, more recent developments do appear to present a more positive picture, but we will continue pressing that. I am in ongoing dialogue with UK ministers, both in the Scotland office and in the Department for Energy on this matter, and I will be very glad to keep Michelle Thompson up to date on that, given I understand her concern for this issue.
Sarah Boyack.
Thank you, Presiding Officer. Will the Cabinet Secretary confirm that the Just Transition Plan for Grangemouth will be published this month? And does she acknowledge that staff who work in Grangemouth need assurance that their skills, their knowledge, their experience will be key to the just transition to cleaner, greener energy projects which can make Grangemouth successful and Scotland leaders in renewable energy and meet the aspirations that Unite are expanding as absolutely critical for us to support now?
Cabinet Secretary.
Presiding Officer, I agree with a great deal of what Sarah Boyack has said. Our Just Transition Plan for Grangemouth Industrial Cluster will outline what will be a truly first-of-its-kind vision for the site, outlining the long-term operations that we would hope to see take place by 2045. Beyond that vision, the plan will also set out and chart a series of actions that will be required to secure that vision, focusing on securing long-term investment, developing technical and commercially viable solutions for manufacturing, and how we foster the correct policy environment for all of that. And the work to finalise the Just Transition Plan is underway just now, and I expect it to be published very soon indeed.
Ash Regan.
Thank you, Presiding Officer. Having raised the need for urgent action on this, I welcome the news that we are hearing that Petro-Ineos has invested in and has restarted the hydrocracker, and that the site is turning a profit. The Save Grangemouth campaign that was headed by my Westminster colleague Kenny McCaskill aligns with a recent survey by Unite Union, strongly indicating that there has been collective failure on Grangemouth support by governments. What substantive commitment will the Government now make to ensure the long-term sustainable future of this core asset to Scotland's energy industry that is not a cliff edge for both workers and Scotland's energy security?
Cabinet Secretary.
Presiding Officer, the Government is absolutely clear about the strategic importance of the Grangemouth complex. That's why its future and future-proofing the complex is a priority for us. It is important to our economy, it is important to our energy mix, it is vital to the workforce of Grangemouth and to the communities around it. That's why, whilst decisions regarding the companies and the site are for the commercial entities in control there, we are determinedly working with all parties with an interest on a future plan. We are meeting all of those who have a stake. We are investing, including in plans for future low-carbon study opportunities, and it's why we are planning. And I would just end by restating that point, that our ambition is to maximise transition opportunities, minimise gaps and secure as many jobs as possible.
Daniel Johnson.
I thank the Cabinet Secretary for her answers so far, and yet she stopped short of committing to the publishing of the Just Transition Plan. Can she confirm that it will be published by the end of the month? And given that if you look at the Scottish Government's webpage, the Future Industry Board, it states that it's updating its work stream priorities for 2023, 5 months into 2024, is she comfortable with the pace and the volume of actions it has been taking to date?
In relation to the substantive question, Cabinet Secretary.
Thank you, Presiding Officer. And in respect of the Just Transition Plan for Grangemouth, as I said in response to Sarah Boyack, the work to bring both the vision and the actions that will be set out in it are nearing completion, and the plan, I expect, will be published very soon indeed.
Thank you. That concludes topical questions.